With the goal of housing, feeding, and supporting those in need in our community, St. Vincent de Paul Louisville is hosting their 2024 Roses and Rosé event to help serve the Louisville community even more. Dave Calty is the director and CEO, and he's here to tell us everything that they have going on with this event. Coming up soon, right?
Yeah, April 28th, Sunday, April 28th at the Olmsted.
In the middle of a great big busy season, but it is such an important message that I know that you find that people want to sit down and they want to hear about it.
They do, and in particular, this particular event is going to help support the work that we do for individuals, men and women and children fleeing domestic abuse.
Such an important topic. Yeah.
It is, and unfortunately the demand for what we do is very high with our transitional shelter as well as the housing that we do off campus.
You all have just, I just know, just coming off even last year, how you've spread out, how you continue to expand.
Right.
Kind of take us inside the Roses and Rosé event and where is it, and all the important things that are discussed there.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. It's, you know, and what's interesting about it is that it's kind of a precursor to the Derby.
Yeah.
So folks that want to get out and have fun and wear
dress up.
Yeah, dress up and all that,
Hence
wear
the
their
name.
hat.
Yeah.
And so it's really a favorite of a lot of folks. It's at the Olmsted. This year we are pleased to say that we've got a guest speaker, Adria Johnson, who's the CEO and president of the United Way. You know, she's just done so much for our community, and to have her there talk about these issues, because they're a big supporter of ours as well, is really important to us.
And so this helps support the domestic violence transitional housing program.
Yes.
Can you tell us like some of the stories? Are you allowed to share some of them, those that have been impacted that this program specifically helps?
Right. So just in the last year, we've served over 100 families in that shelter. And of that, there's close to 50 children that are part of those, part of those families. So, and the ultimate goal is to get to permanent housing. And so 3/4 of those, 3 out of 4 of those families did exit into permanent housing from this program after getting the support that they get. And so there's so many stories, Claudia, that we have. And most recently, you know, an individual, Rachel, that had been in our country, having grown up in a different country, came to the United States, and after 15 years, found herself in a situation that they needed to get safe. And so her and her 3 children were sheltered at our domestic violence shelter. And she actually gave birth to her 4th child while she was there at the shelter. And they've since exited into permanent housing, which is, again, what we want. And, you know, if you were to talk to her, she'd say it was the place that helped me to be calm and safe and get our feet on the ground to be able to make that transition. You
know, Dave, even from a safety perspective, what you all do, not only to provide transitional housing and then to help them find permanent housing, but your team has to be trained in a way, you know, just to be that calming presence, like you said, for her, to have peace and to know that you're safe enough to plan your next steps. It's a tricky situation
the staff that
for
we
both
have,
sides.
It is, and the work is so hard.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't grow up in my career in this area, and I've learned so much in the last few years. They do amazing work with folks and have great empathy. And if you look at our mission, we treat individuals with dignity and compassion, and we have to, because being homeless or fleeing a domestic violence situation, is the trauma associated with that is just, it's hard to describe.
That program's growing. The men's emergency shelter, that program continues to grow. I'll let you say it. I'll let you say it. Yeah. That continues. I mean, there's great need, but you're serving, you're helping, and probably a need to grow even more.
It does, and you know, when you look at Louisville, there's a shortage of shelter beds like that, and we can, you know, you see it in the news, you see it in the newspaper as well. It's a hot topic, and we all know it, and we all want folks to have a place to go and not be on the street. And the shelter that we have has 50 beds for men, and it's 24/7, so there's no check-in, no check-out.
Yeah.
You know, we have men that work night shift and then have a place to stay during the day. And you know, sometimes you don't really understand what that means, that if you have to leave with all your stuff.
And you're trying to have a job.
Right.
And you're trying to get back on your feet.
So we're trying to reduce barriers. That's the important part of what we do in that shelter.
So with this particular, the Roses and Rosé event, can people still get tickets?
Yes.
And then if you can't go, how can you support?
Yeah, you know, it's great. There's a special meal that we hold for the adults and the children in the shelter as well. So if you're not able to get a ticket, you're not able to go, you can go on our website and buy a meal. because we have a special
right.
meal for the folks in the shelter as well.
Right, you're able to help in so many
Yeah.
ways. Thank you for taking the time to
Claudia,
stop by.
thank you.
Oh,
I
thank you so
appreciate it.
much. Hey, to purchase those tickets, if you want to attend this year's event, get dressed up in your Derby finest, come out and support this really great cause. Roses and Rosé. Just go to onebidpal.net/Roses and Rosé 2024.